a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Corn cup, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot, and we discuss local, like crazy local and national Native news and events. And as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
You are right, Robert. This portion of the show is supported by Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon.
Hey, Peeny Gigi, Haley, it's good to be right once a day. And I know we pay you to say that, but I appreciate that. And we were talking a little bit before the show, and one of the crazy things that that seems to always happen, and here this on Sunday, there was some breaking news up in northern Minnesota. 15 ice fishermen trapped on the ice Sunday, and wow. I just would never personally go out, especially with global warming, on this ice until it's like 30 below or something.
Exactly. I don't know what these people are. I believe what you're looking at, that's Red Lake, right?
Yes.
The fishermen. Yeah. Up on Upper Red Lake. I don't know what the heck those guys are doing. And I believe they were non-tribal people. They weren't Red Lakers at all. So I don't know how they have access to the roads or how they got on the lake or how they even got out there, because it's not completely frozen.
Right. And it sounds like that they were on some island floating away, a frozen island floating away. So I don't know. Some people I'm reading on Facebook here is just to leave them and let them fend for themselves. But there was a big rescue Sunday for that. And it's that time of year. And it's also that time of year, Haley, to be really disappointed to be a Vikings fan. But the only thing that saved that is the Packers lost. So that's the only thing I really care about. And baseball's coming up pretty soon. That's what I care about. And I got a couple tickets for the Twins Fest. So then in January, so I'll be excited to go and hang out and get some autographs.
Awesome. Yeah, I know how much you love the Twins and your baseball. I am just still stuck on the whole ice thing right now because I was driving, and it's not like down here in the cities too, I guess a little bit north metro, but I saw someone walking out on the lake on thin ice. I could see open water, and he's walking out there carrying his ice fishing sled. And it's like, dude, chill your horses. Like we still have a couple more months left of winter. Like, it'll be okay.
I know our relatives out there, our Native relatives, love fishing too, but I guess I never really got into it after high school. I guess it was just for me, it was like an excuse to drink before noon, fishing was. So, you could crack open those beers when you're out there looking for your sacred walleye there to eat later and have a Ham's beer.
Right. Well, I'm sure a lot of people are still currently doing that. But yeah, just wild. I mean, is it worth, risking your life? I definitely wouldn't be out there doing that, but.
Well, when you're driving out there and you have a truck or even your car, it's a little scary when you have to keep your windows down and make sure your seatbelts aren't on.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, this is why we carry, shovels in our trunk in the winter and the ice pickers for emergencies like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever, up to you. I hope you can swim.
Hey, we have Dr. Stately coming on later, and I just wanted to throw this out there too. Our friends in Wisconsin and our Native friends, Wisconsin's doing something right there in the University of Madison. Wisconsin is where I went for a year back in 1979 and 80.
I always forget that.
They're giving free tuition for the University of Madison for tribal enrolled members, which, they could do a little better and have some descendants thrown in there too. But that's a great first step, and it's like a $28,000 per year, full credits to go there.
Yeah, and I think too what I'm looking at is they're going to be covering law school too and post grad. So that's amazing.
Well, there you go, Haley. We should move the show to Hudson, and we'll be right on the border there for you, and you can just slip on in and get your master's.
Yes, I wish it was that easy, but I am a descendant, so unfortunately I'm not enrolled.
Well, and that's fun is that I think as time goes on, all the tribes, and it's a whole different show about this, but the tribes are going to have to change their blood quantum if they want to still be around in the next 30, 40 years. And people like Red Lake have already done that, and tribes, across the whole country have done that, and are on lineage instead of blood quantum, which is a way. And it's, again, Haley, it's a whole show to talk about this, but we'll talk a little bit about it. It's like blood quantum is a colonized way to get rid of Native Americans. So they're betting on us to commingle with our other relatives. Where I've known before Red Lake opened their changed their blood quantum, which they didn't change their blood quantum legally. What they did was they changed what made you full blood, and what made you full blood was you were born before 1958. And I know Red Lake up in northern Minnesota, they got 2,000 more, enrolled 2,000 more members.
Yeah.
So there is that, and but I think too, getting rid of blood quantum and having lineage is going to preserve our people and who we are, and make it up to the tribes to decide, not the government with this blood quantum crap.
Yeah, and I just want to say, too, to any of my other, descendants out there, or people who, are kind of in my own position who, you can't be enrolled in your family's tribe. As long as you know who you are, and your soul is called to walk the red road and the red life here in a good way, and your soul and your mind and your spirit's in the right place, that can't take away your family and who your family is. So own it and live it.
Well, and again, I agree. Live it too. There's a responsibility to know who you are, and it's a personal responsibility, but it's also your ancestors' responsibility too, because they fought so hard to stay alive, I guess is one way to put it, with all the things that we went through, whether it was colonization, war, smallpox, and getting those nice little blankets from white people and wiping out half the people. At one time, and I could be totally wrong, but I thought I read one time Ho Chunks were 100,000 people strong in the 5-state area, and by the 1860s and 70s, we were down to 700 people. That's why I look at things like Ancestry.com, and I'm related to like everybody.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of the whole 12 clan thing in Ho Chunk, where we're all kind of related.
Yeah.
Somewhat. But there's a quote that I really like, talking about ancestors and how they fought so hard to still, have their own children and teach their children the way of life, and make sure that got passed down through generations in a family. And yeah, you may be a descendant, but you're that answer to your ancestors' prayers. So
yeah, definitely. And so those are positive things, and you always have to, like, with these positive things, be aware that there's reasons for them. And one of the things is like Madison, for instance, it's great because they're on Ho Chunk land, and they literally built on Ho Chunk land along with the capital. And so there's all these stories about that. So that's the least they can do for our people in Wisconsin, our Native Americans, and especially our Ho Chunk relatives. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and we'll be right back after this short break.
stay with us.
Oh.
We are your relatives,
We are your relations,
brothers,
sisters,
sons.
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
Homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID-19. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a go-to card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, before we get Dr. Stately on, and I know he's on vacation this week, so he's probably on Indian time right now, but we did an awesome thing this weekend. You produced a symposium for Native Roots Radio, and just a second here. Dr. Stately just messaged me. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we filmed our second symposium for the Minnesota Department of Health here actually yesterday, and it was a really good conversation, and we were just even talking about it after we got done, and we were like, wow, it was a good thing we talked about all that, because we had forgot some of the things, or it's been we're going into 4 years since COVID started.
Yeah, definitely. And got to talk about my experience too with Dr. Stately. And we had Heather on too, who's Mohawk, and she's a pharmacist, and we were talking about that. And I just before Dr. Stately comes on, and he's coming on in a minute here, I just text him. The symposium's going to be on at on AM 950 at 9 p.m. and Sunday. That's Saturday at 9 p.m. and Sunday at 7 p.m. And of course, you'll be able to find it on our YouTube and Facebook and out there on iTunes. I just wanted to let everyone know, because
well, maybe we should share out our first one that we did back in when was that? Was that November?
Yeah, it was supposed to be October, but it was November.
Oh, it was early November. Yep, that was a good one. And Dr. Stately was on that one with us too. So if you haven't heard that one, would be a great intro for the second one here.
Yeah, definitely. And talking with Dr. Stately, I get emotional with when we talk about things like that. And here he is, Dr. Stately, who's CEO of Native American Community Clinic, and all around groovy guy too. I just do have to admit that. And I know I don't want to give him too much, not credit, but too much to fill up that head.
Don't give me too much
He's really well known in this field. And whenever we talk to people and mention Dr. Stately's name that he's on the show, they're impressed. So we love you coming on and speaking your truth and your knowledge. And thanks again, Dr. Stately.
Oh, thank you. That's kind of me to say.
It's
But yeah, don't give me too many accolades. My head might not be able to get out the door here when I have to leave. With the boys at hockey.
Hockey tonight.
Hockey. Oh, hockey tonight.
Oh,
Yes.
it's hockey every night. Like, the only
That's
days that I
true.
don't have hockey are Sundays because they're in
Wow.
high school now. So I think it's like because it's a high school league, like they can't play on Sundays because
The
that
J.O.
thing.
Christian thing is that.
Probably, I'm assuming, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Wow.
You know,
Well, you know how we feel about that here on Native Roots
it's the day of
Radio.
it's the day of rest.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we were just talking about the symposium that we did yesterday, but what I want to do before we get into that and talk about what you want to talk about is that there's a couple things going on, and I'd like to bring them up. And Haley has the poster ready here, and it's happening right now, and let our people know that are in their car or close to their car and still listen to the show and go over to I believe it's Harding AIM tonight.
American Indian Magnet School in St. Paul, yeah. So over on the east side. So if you're nearby and you have a few moments, swing by the American Indian Magnet School. NACC, in partnership with the Johns Hopkins University's Great Lakes Hub, is conducting 2 events. One this evening at American Indian Magnet School, another one tomorrow evening at East Phillips Cultural and Community Center in Minneapolis. Both of those are intended to be town halls. We're asking for people to show up and use their voice. They can use their actual voice, or they can engage in an interactive sort of assessment of health issues and health equity concerns that Native people might be experiencing in the Twin Cities. This is part of some funded work that we were given some resources by the Minnesota Department of Health to do a health equity needs assessment for the Minneapolis and St. Paul American Indian communities. It's going to be information and data that we will use to inform a health improvement plan that we can provide to the state and to local jurisdictions as well, and to tribal and to urban communities and to tribes as well, to how to improve the health and the well-being and health for Native people in the Twin Cities. So show up. We have Trickster Tacos, I think, tonight at We'll show up tomorrow for Trickster's Tacos in Minneapolis. Tonight it's catered food by Indigenous Food Labs Natives, which is Sean Sherman's the sous chefs nonprofit. So got some great eats there. We'll have a couple of other things there. You'll get a gift card for the first 120 people who show up, and some food as well. So more importantly, come lend your voice, because it's important information we're going to be providing to leadership throughout the state and also in government, other forms of government and community. So.
Yeah, that's great. And again, great example of what your organization and not only your organization, but people that you work with in different organizations too really step up for the community. And again, I don't know how many years ago it was, but I just heard nothing but good things about you, Dr. Stately. And I remember, I think it was a food giveaway, and you didn't forget our neighbors in St. Paul, and you came to Harding, and your group came to Harding, and that was a big deal, especially in the beginning of COVID, where everybody was going crazy and buying toilet paper like it was going out of style.
Well, it was actually going out of style.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I mean, I think that's part of thank you for acknowledging that, and also for this is part of the way I think of what it means to be a good relative in our community, and to be a good relative and to share resources and to take good care of one another, right? Our relatives live on the east side. Even though NACC is in Minneapolis, our relatives live on, these are false borders that colonizers established for us. Our relatives live everywhere, so we're going to help everybody that comes to us for help.
Absolutely. We were Haley and I were talking a little bit about blood quantum in the first segment because I don't know if you saw this, but UW is now giving free tuition to enrolled members in Wisconsin, like we do
Nice.
here in Minnesota. But again, we underline and enrolled, and we talk about how blood quantum affects a lot of our relatives and how it should be almost lineage instead. But that's a whole nother story, right? Or another show, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are important conversations for us to be having in our communities and every single tribal community because, blood quantum as a specific mechanism of sort of documenting people's quote unquote amount of indigenous blood that they have or Indian blood that they have or tribal blood is a tool of the colonizer, really, quite frankly, if I had to be so blunt. It is like not it is not the way we as indigenous people think about identity and belonging and membership in our tribes. I think historically, anyway, these are like things that were kind of thrust upon us as part of the colonization experience. But it's not lost on me that I think one things we don't often talk about and think about is like, how, many of us have intermarriage and many of us have children children or grandchildren who are not going to fit those quantum rules, right? And so what we end up happening is we, without being a little bit more thoughtful and intentional about really analyzing that, we run the risk of like having, tribes just sort of kind of disappear, like, right?
And they have out
yeah,
east.
they have. Well, I think that's interesting. Like one of the things I've always said to people, it's interesting to me that under the white man's rule of law or their philosophical model, it's like, well, to be black, you only have to have one drop of black blood in you to be black, and then they consider you black and they treat you that way as a second-class citizen. This is back in Jim Crow days when if you had one drop of black blood in you, you were black and you didn't get a lot of rights as a result of that. Well, interestingly enough, because it benefits white people to have us have that rule is reversed. We have higher standards that they've thrust upon us to demonstrate and I guess justify that we are indigenous. And we are living in the 21st century. We should not be justifying our indigeneity to anybody that is not our own tribes, our own tribal people.
We have to get rid of this John Wayne mentality that the natives were just wasting the United States beauty and being greedy because we took care of our land, and that they've been around for a couple hundred years and they own it. And we hear that rhetoric from Trump now too about who should be here and who shouldn't.
Well, that's just good old-fashioned manifest destiny right there.
Absolutely. Hey, we're here with Dr.
What do you
Stately.
think of that, partner?
Hey, good one. Hey, Tara says hi right there. I don't know if you saw that, but
hi. Hey, Tara.
Cool. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Wake, and we'll be right back after the short break with Dr. Stately.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality, comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
As we gear up for the holiday season, let's prioritize the safety of our community, especially our cherished elders and loved ones. As you plan your holiday gatherings, remember, whether you're young or in good health, you could still unknowingly spread COVID-19. The key to a safer celebration is getting vaccinated. The newest vaccines are authorized, effective against current variants, and FDA approved for ages 6 months and up. So here's the call to action. Be a vaccinative. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Getting vaccinated before your holiday gatherings is a powerful way to ensure a safer and happier time for everyone. Let's honor our elders by preserving their wisdom and stories for generations to come. So be a vaccinative this holiday season. Find more information, including clinics with free vaccines, at vaccines.gov.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
If you're thinking of gift giving this holiday season, head over to Rudy Luther Toyota. Rudy Luther Toyota has new inventory available for immediate delivery. Pick from the Corolla, the Camry, the Fun RAV4, the Highlander, the Tundra, my favorite, the Sienna, and more. Make sure you check out the hybrid models. I can tell you they're incredibly fuel efficient. Rudy Luther Toyota also has a wide selection of certified pre-owned vehicles ready for a test drive. Shop Luther Direct at rudyluthertoyota.com or visit their showroom. This holiday season, gift yourself with a new vehicle from Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for clear skies tonight with a low around 18, Tuesday partly sunny with a high near 37, and Wednesday sunny with a high around 40. Eat Local Minnesota is a great way to find locally owned restaurants and food purveyors. They feature high-quality food and unique eating experiences for your next meal. Some of those dining options include the Great Wall Restaurant, Nightingale, and Crooner's Supper Club. Find a full list of all of our restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic, or NACC, on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
I love that tagline. I wish I would have made that one up. That's a good tagline. And we're here with Dr. Stately of Native American Community Clinic, the CEO and chief dishwasher and bottle washer. Isn't that the old saying?
Basically, yeah. Chief executive officer. Actually, technically, we dropped the word chief from all of our officer level titles a few years ago for obvious reasons. So.
Wow, let me tell you a quick story here. I used to be on the parent committee, Dr. Stately, the St. Paul Native American Parent Committee.
Yep.
And I was kind of talking about to everybody that would listen, and it was, that maybe we all should, go to one school. Maybe we all should go to Harding, So then, we could like circle the wagons and, and really be, protect ourselves. And you just... Everybody look at me when I said that old saying, and was like, people that know me thought, oh, he's just being funny, and the other people are like, what the heck is he saying? And I didn't even catch myself, but these old sayings die hard with old people like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could explain to our audience why the obvious.
The wagons are like, yeah.
All right. I've always wanted to start a nonprofit called Wagon Burners or something, and I just Wagon Burners. You have a little wagon.
I love that. idea. You know, do you remember last winter, I think? Yeah, it was earlier this last year, probably, I think either around this time or maybe it was in early January, like January, February of 2024, 23. Indian Collective supported this drag review in Denver called The Wagon Burners. And I have a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, and a friend who I've known forever. I lived in Los Angeles, who was part of that drag review. And he and I would just remember thinking, oh my God, this is so amazing. Like, you know, what a great name for a Native American, you know, drag show called, you know, Wagon Burners. So,
Well, I have a friend that might be starting a podcast. Maybe he can change it to a LLC and call it Wagon Burners Productions or something.
oh yeah. I wonder who that. I wonder who that friend is.
I don't know, but I hear rumors he like listens to NPR
Mm,
and doesn't listen to our show. But that's a whole nother show too.
someone's got to talk to him.
Cool, but yeah,
Dr. Stately, you guys have something going on for NACC tomorrow that's part of kind of like a winter storytelling tradition. Do you want to
Oh
talk a little bit
yeah,
about
so
that?
it's an event that we're putting on tomorrow evening. And there's a QR code there. You can everybody can if they have the ability, they can look at scan it really quickly and register. The first 50 families to register will receive a meal kit to pick up at NACC tomorrow afternoon or before the event. And we're going to be offering a winter storytelling event. We do this annually every single year. Wintertime for Dakota and Ojibwe people is a time when you sort of kind of get a little bit quiet. You're indoors. It's a time when we do tell a lot of stories. We communicate information about, you know, who we are as Indigenous people, our values, really important lessons in those stories. And we're going to be sharing some of those tomorrow night. Our special guests are Neil McKay, Everett Black Thunder, and Barry Hand. And that's all going to be done on Zoom. And please join us tomorrow. It's from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Haley's got us signed up, and I'll have her run over and get that food for us so we can come listen to it.
Yes, I can bring you dinner. I don't think we signed up for meal kits, but
Oh.
so what do the Ho Chunks do during winter time? Do we like to tell stories too and get quiet, or are we all loud and nuts?
We have stories
Do
too.
I get to vote? Do I get to vote what I think?
Right?
Well,
No.
when you first asked that, Haley, I was thinking, well, what do? We take a long nap during the winter, but
like bears.
Hibernate.
But we have our own stories too. We're all star people. We're made of we're made of earth and sky.
Yeah, I love that story.
We are made of earth and sky. We're made of all the elements in the universe. And so one of the things I always like to tell people is, and I do this all the time, I have this thing that I do because I hear from both Indigenous people and I also hear from white people because I'm a researcher also. I'm a PhD, right? So I have my classic training is in science and research, and then also I'm trained as a clinician, child psychologist specifically. So if you ever need help, Robert, I can help you. But I tell people, like, you know, we're the original scientists on the planet. Like, we mapped the stars 10,000 years before Galileo. We've been saying since the beginning of time that we are star people. We came across that Milky Way galaxy on our way here. We go back on that star path when we go home to the Creator. And those are Indigenous teachings that Dakota people have, Ojibwe people, and I think you're telling me also that the Ho-Chunk people have those things. But guess what? Like, you know, a couple of years ago, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, it was a big article in, I think it was in.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, Scientific America. They talked about how, you know, some people had done some studies and they actually saw that our genetic makeup, like our skin and so much of our genetics actually come from stardust, right? So that we are actually made of stardust, which is whenever I have these experiences and I see like the contemporaneous science catch up with like our indigenous knowledge,
Yes.
I like to wave my finger at them and say, "See, I told you we were scientists. We knew what the hell we're talking about."
Well, and also too, I have some dagas, some uncles that are pretty salty, so that's explains the stardust.
Mm.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
isn't they came the dust? So it's the meteors, right? That came and crashed in the water, and then it mixed
No,
with every.
no, no,
No, it's not.
no. We came from the
No,
stars.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
those did
We
those meteorites got everybody. We have our DNA is the Earth and sky.
Well, I think one way of thinking about that is like, like who was it? The guy that helped with Albert Einstein is known for, saying like, energy doesn't ever, energy and matter are here forever. They change forms and they transmute and they can become other things, but it never actually, we never lose energy. It just moves to another place.
Right.
And I think one of the things that we can think about is like, as we're walking that star path across the Milky Way and we're on our way here, we are pulling all that ancestral knowledge, all of that ancestral DNA and all those molecules with us. And when we come through the earth, that is who we are. We are formed in that way. And when we leave here, we take that with us as well. We leave
Absolutely.
something behind, but we take it with us as well.
Absolutely too, Dr. Stately. And I also heard that, and you could help us too. We have the most unique DNA in the world.
Ojibwe people definitely do.
Wait, he's. Wait,
I'm just kidding.
wait, I gotta find my boo button here.
Oh, yeah, do you have a boo button?
Crickets will work. What was that again?
No, I mean, yeah. You know what's interesting is like human beings, like there's about in our as our just genetic structures, like we're about 90 some percent alike across all of the humankind sort of like cultures, but there's about 3% of us or so that is different, right? There's that 3% or so that are actually is more. It's probably, I'm getting it completely wrong. It's probably like 0.03%. But it turns out like those things specifically about who we are culturally and the way we understand ourselves in relationship to one another, in the relationship to other people from different cultures, the way we understand ourselves in relationship to the cosmos and to all of the living things on the planet are make us very unique individuals. They may, so it's like, we all have kind of the similar sort of genetic structures, but it is really our understandings and the way we understand ourselves in relationship to things and people and human beings and experiences that really make us very unique. And it makes our life really, really rich.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And not to be confused, but I mean, a lot of like our Irish relatives and relatives across the world were, I don't know if I want to say pagans, but let's just say that they did worship the sky and Mother Sky and our Father Sky and Mother Earth and things like that, and they've been colonized. And I feel like Native Americans are the last, at least in this continent, the last to give that up and to be true to themselves and not go to the Christianity portion.
Yeah, I think that there's like I forget who I was talking to the other day about this, how this came up, the conversation about the British kind of colonized most of the world.
Right.
Spaniards as well, but like a few other folks. I kind of feel like the French really got into the whole colonization game, didn't they? Too much. I guess they colonized Vietnam and a few other places, but the point is that the purpose of colonization is really to sort of strip people of their cultural knowledge and their cultural life ways. And people all over the planet, the Celts, the Samis, all all kinds of people in that sort of part of the world that we think of as like European and white, they were indigenous people, and
Well, and what's interesting too, what you just said there too, it's not until like the 40s were people white. We either had Italians, British, Irish, and then the government changed it to a white race, and all of a sudden it's the whites versus the BIPOCs, and that's a whole nother story or show also.
There's lots of research on that.
Oh, we lost Dr. Stately.
He's frozen.
Oh no. It's that good internet out there. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and that was Dr. Stately of Native American Community Clinic, and I think if he's not back, Haley and I have plenty to talk about, right, Haley?
Absolutely.
Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
As we gear up for the holidays, let's keep our friends, relatives, and elders protected from COVID-19. Even though the emergency declaration is over, COVID-19 is still a concern, especially for those with compromised immune systems. So when you get together this holiday season, opt for outdoor gatherings if weather permits or well-ventilated indoor spaces. And here's a tough one. If you're feeling unwell before your gathering, stay home. It may not be much fun, but it goes a long way towards keeping our cherished elders healthy. After your event, keep an eye on your health. Test if you notice symptoms. If you're traveling in crowded places like airports, put on a mask for that extra layer of protection. Let's make this holiday season the healthiest ever, securing a brighter future for our Native community. For more tips, visit health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a go-to card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
Unveil the captivating world of native photography at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Their new exhibit, In Our Hands, Native Photography 1890 to Now, turns the camera around and puts native photographers in control, featuring hundreds of photographs captured by generations of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and Native Americans. You'll view the world through their lens, revealing the beauty and complexity of Indigenous heritage. Don't miss this incredible experience. Visit In Our Hands at the Minneapolis Institute of Art now through January 14th. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, we got Dr. Stately back. Oh, you are of earth and sky and bad internet.
It's true. I live in the land of plenty, as long as it's not internet related.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, do you think one thing? Do you think you could repeat what you were saying? Because do you know when you got cut off?
Oh, I said race is a social construct. It's not a biological. Has nothing to do with biologics. There's no biological. So there's no biological construct that supports that scientifically.
Right.
Exactly. Hey, so one thing I want to mention before we let you go, Dr. Stately, too, is happy birthday to State Representative Heather Keeler. I saw that it was her birthday, and I sent her a shout out. And a frequent guest on Native Roots Radio, and sometimes host too.
Yeah, happy birthday, Heather.
Happy birthday, Heather. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So we talked a little.
What she's doing, it's cold up where she's at. Maybe she's not. Hopefully, she's next to a fire.
Yeah, it's cold where I am.
It's cool. Tomorrow it'll be warm. Tomorrow it's going to be 40 something. So yeah, you get
Right.
one day of winter actually.
Well, it's crazy. Two things. Last year was so icy, and we had like the fourth amount of snow ever. I couldn't cross the street without worrying about falling and breaking a hip, literally. And now we have no. I walk down to the river every day, the Mississippi River. I live a few blocks away, and where one of the lock and dams are, there is no water going over the dam. It's kind of scary for me because this will be the third year of drought here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. I mean, you can see like the effects of global warming really clearly, I think, these days. So it's kind of hard to argue that it's a thing.
I know it's hard too, like especially if we don't have, the white snow on the ground for the holiday. So it's like, are we still in winter? But yeah, it is currently the winter solstice. So if you're someone who maybe doesn't celebrate Christmas, but you still want to celebrate the winter solstice, here are some 6 things that come along with the winter solstice. It is, or Yule, so some people call it winter solstice or Yule, but it is the shortest day of the year. It also marks the turning of the wheel of the year to the light half of the year. So our days begin to get a little bit longer with daylight. It's also the time to plant seeds and rest and settle into the colder months to come, a time to celebrate eternal cycle of life and death and the battle between the light and dark. Also, the winter solstice encourages reflection and looking inwards and not out. It's a good time for shadow work, and it's also the fire festival, a rebirth, and for the days coming of lighter days.
Wow, that was well said. Hey, not to change the subject, but Dr. Stately, did you see that Walt Disney Studios is now translating in Dakota and Ojibwe Star Wars, A New Hope, and Disney's backing that up.
Really?
And getting, people that from the Manitoba tribe to help create this, and that's something that's been
That's so
kind
cool.
of flying all over
That's
my
amazing.
Facebook here, and yeah, it is amazing. What
Yeah.
next?
Wow.
I never watched
Well, I
Star
mean, I
Wars.
think, yeah, I think it's evidence that like, there's there's a new dawn or dawning here, I guess. I don't know. But I think part of that is like really cool. It's like, if you watch Star Wars really closely, like it is basically, the sort of reinterpretation of all of the things that happened on this continent to indigenous people.
Yeah.
It is a story of colonization and imperialism, right? And people are resisting that. So yeah, it's our story. It should be in our language.
That's right. And so that means Harry Potter is that too, because if you ever see any of those Facebook videos that Harry Potter stole Star Wars' script, that the parallels are unbelievable. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Haley, but it's
I
pretty.
haven't, but yeah,
haven't
my
either.
friends love Harry Potter.
Well, that's why, because it's Star Wars. And why do we love Star Wars? It's our well, it's something like, the Luke and Harry Potter are orphaned. They find this power. They have a mystic leader that helps them. I mean, I'm just talking off the top of my head, but the things that I've read and heard, like on, where I get my news, TikTok, that it was really made sense. It was almost like the comparisons between Lincoln and Kennedy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like, that these are sometimes the limitations of like literature, right? So it's like, did you teach English? Did you teach English, or did you teach something else less important? Like
Less important, film and video and a drumline music, which is very important. But look at Dr. Stately's frozen, clowning me.
He is. He's laughing hard.
He's still laughing. Shoot.
Oh, no,
Wow.
I've never seen Star Wars. And it actually took me for like my whole life to get myself together and watch all the Harry Potter movies too. And I actually just did that probably last year. It was the first time I watched Harry Potter. And I liked it. I did.
Well, Google that, Haley, when you get off the show, because it's hilarious on how they're similar. But again, there's a lot of similarities. I like to always say, because I didn't teach literature in high school is that there's only 7 scripts. There's only 7 stories. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets back. That's one
Yeah.
example.
That's why. Yeah, that's why we need to write our own stories. We need to put our own stories out there. Get
Right?
something new going.
Definitely. Well, I think we have lost Dr. Stately for good today, and we just want to give him a big shout out. And people come in and listen in on Saturday at what was the time I gave?
9 or 7.
Well, there's 2 times. So Saturday at 9 p.m., we'll be playing the 90-minute symposium with Dr. Stately and Heather. And then also Sunday at 7 p.m. will be the rebroadcast. And of course, you can hear it on iTunes. It's pretty riveting, when we sit down and talk about these past 4 years and get reminders. And then, of course, I talked a little bit about my COVID experience, which, it's funny. I saw some friends. I saw your friend Alex today, and she was saying that my eyes still looked funny and my voice sounded funny. So I still had some
She's just making fun.
Yeah, and that I still have some COVID eyes and some COVID layover from having it 3 weeks ago, and I don't feel 100%, and my voice does sound funny, but I told her it was because I was old and dying, but she didn't want to hear that.
Jeez.
I don't know. She was like,
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely go listen to our symposiums. I think they're really great. If you haven't listened to the first one, definitely check that one out. This one's definitely a bit more informational. We talk a lot with Heather Miracle Fahey about vaccines. She's a pharmacist. It was really great. It was really informative, and I definitely needed a refresher and a lot of that too. But, we're going into the holiday seasons, and taking care of your health is so important for many reasons, and not only just your physical health, but your mind and your spirit as well. So going into the next year, make sure you have your health insurance set up for, any type of appointments you're going to need. If you don't know how to do health insurance, probably like myself, you can head over to minsure.org, and they have navigators that will help you through the entire process and
what's that
and hook
website
you
again?
up. Minsure.org.
Yeah, say that in your radio voice.
Learn more at minsure.org. That's minsure.org.
Wow, you have just been hired for the job of producer of Native Roots Radio. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, if you're listening to the show, you're part of the resistance. From Chief Plentycoops, the ground on which we stand on is sacred ground, is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. We're still here. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier. Now.